Welcome back to a new video, as today is my annual Sasuke review, as I will be reviewing and talking about Sasuke Ninja Warrior 2024, aka Sasuke 42 in simpler terms. I will be talking about what I liked, disliked, and overall thoughts about the entire tournament. And before I do that, please like the video, subscribe, comment. All of my socials are on the screen and down in the description, so give them a follow for more reviews. When it comes to the contestant roster for this tournament, I think that Sasuke 42 had an overall solid lineup of contestants, as you had the usual names from Yusuke, Hyoki, Kitetto, Jun, Rio, as well as just a few international contestants from Olivia Vivian, Ilion Sheriff, Daniel Gill, and a few returns that's pretty good to see. Yuko Mizuno making her official return after 20 years, and as well as just Gunpei Shiratori coming back after 10 years away. When it comes with Gunpei, I always thought that he was never going to come back. He may have never been technically retired, but I just always felt that he was just not going to come back. Like, the injuries that he had was just too much and everything else. But I'm glad that I was proven wrong, and just seeing him and all of these contestants on screen, it's just a good time. Now, when it comes to stage 1 in terms of obstacles, a majority of the obstacles remain the same, with the exception of a brand new obstacle by the name of Screwdriver. And with Screwdriver, it reminded me of a few different obstacles from the past. Most notably, I think it's like a modernized version of the butterfly wall, and as well as just a few obstacles from Kunoichi and a few other Sasuke related shows, because of the long runway and having to press the button and things like that. Screwdriver was an interesting obstacle. It did have a few fails as expected, but I think this obstacle could be improved to make it a bit more serious in a bit. Like, make the runway either a bit shorter, or just make the bar just rotate a little bit faster, so that you just have to be on your A game to make it to the other side. Another modification that was in stage 1 was Fishbone, as an extra pillar was added on one half of the obstacle, and in my opinion, I think the Fishbone modification was disappointing, as it really didn't do much damage. It was like the same results as seen with the Fishbone in various tournaments in the past. The fact that Jun Sato could still bunny hop to the other side and clear the obstacle, that just tells you like the obstacle didn't do much. Like, yeah, it did some damage, but not to the extent that I thought it was going to be. But in terms of results for this tournament in stage 1 had a mixture of expected, surprising, and just overall amazing results. Yamashita Yuta failing the warped wall after making it all the way to stage 3 in the last tournament was surprising. Like, I don't know if he was tired or he just gassed out, fatigue. Wasabi failing the warped wall after being in stage 3 in the last tournament was also surprising, but considering that he was battling cancer at the time of his run, I'm not going to be harsh on him, and I hope that he beats cancer and he just makes it to 43 and just destroys stages 1 and 2 like he did in 41. Ken Kasugi actually failing stage 1 was surprising and just shocking. Like, he may have failed in the World Cup, but technically it wasn't an official Sasuke tournament, just a special event. And the fact that he failed on the Dragon Glider was just sad, and just like, damn. 27-year streak officially over. Another surprising result that made me actually happy was Hitoshi Kano clearing stage 1 after him failing stage 1 for over 9 years due to injuries, fatigue, whatever you want to call it. Because I am one of the few people that still has hope that Kano can do his best. And in stage 1, he finally cleared after a long time. I was just happy to see him clear. Like, some of the fails in stage 1 was a bit over the top, a bit crazy, wacky, maybe even scary in good ways, with how some of the people failed Screwdriver, the Fishbone, the Dragon Glider. Like, I think the Dragon Glider was perhaps the ninja killer for stage 1, because a lot of people failed that obstacle in the later half portion of stage 1 contestants. From Snowman, Nagano, Yamamoto, just a whole bunch of just different competitors. Like the Dragon Glider, it was on some stuff. Kenji Darvish failing once again just continues to make me lose hope for him to clear stage 1. But a couple of people avenged their fails, from Hiro, Suzuki. Yeah, but 28 stage 1 clears is just and also with Olivia Vivian becoming, I think, the 5th woman to clear the first stage in SASUKE, that's a pretty nice feat to add onto the number of clears also. But 28 stage 1 clears is just a bit crazy. It's like a huge what the hell. Like, it just seemed as if like the changes didn't really do much in terms of results wise. But for stage 1, despite everything that took place from results, the changes, I didn't have a bad time watching. Now, in terms of stage 2 and its obstacles, stage 2 remained unchanged with the exception of the time limit being reduced from, I think, either 100 seconds to 95 seconds. But the time limit didn't really add that much damage. The weather did. As expected, crazy BS weather conditions made stage 2 a little bit more interesting, but at the same time a bit messed up, honestly, for some of the contestants, as stage 2 did have a few number of surprising fails that I wasn't expecting. I think the biggest one for me personally was Jun Sato. Him failing on the rolling log was a huge shock in my opinion. He hasn't failed stage 2 ever since Monster 9 was still in charge of SASUKE, almost 15 years ago. Him failing the rolling log alongside Nagasaki, Matachi, Kayu, Nagano, Olivia Vivian, it was shocking, crazy, disappointing, just a whole plethora of just mixed emotions because of the bad weather. Like, everyone should have like a fair chance at like running at SASUKE with like normal weather conditions, but it is what it is at this point. Someone actually getting disqualified on the reverse conveyor was not on my bingo card. The fact that it actually happened again was just like, dang, like, for real. Nakashima Yuta becoming the youngest stage 2 clear in history was a nice thing to see. Him and Kayu Nagano are the next generation of competitors for SASUKE, but I can definitely see Nakashima making it to the final stage eventually in a couple of tournaments way before he is 21. As far as Kayu goes, he just needs to practice on the rolling log, and I think he'll have stage 2 in the bag and he'll just try out stage 3. Hopefully in 43 he finally makes it to stage 3. Like, him just failing the rolling log again in the second time was in a row. Disappointing, but it happens to the best of us. But yeah, expected clears with Yusuke, Hyoki, Yuji, Kitaro, Ryusuke, Daniel, Alien. Like 16 stage 2 clears is ridiculous in my opinion. Like there shouldn't be 16 stage 2 clears. Like there should be less than 10 or like 10 to 11. But at this point though, stage 2 is likely never to have any new changes, sadly, and I just have to suck it up and deal with it. But yeah, stage 2, this tournament was actually interesting. Stage 3 is usually where the big boys play. As far as obstacles go, not much changes with the exception of the swing edge having a huge modification, with it now being X, Y, X, with the second part of the obstacle changing from the letter X to the letter Y. And this obstacle, in my opinion, actually did some moderate damage with a couple of surprising names failing. But what I did not like about this modification was the fact that competitors were allowed to like touch like the middle part of the obstacle. Like when Swing Edge was first introduced, the rules were you had to touch only the red bars. If you touch anything over the red bars, you're out, disqualified. And the fact that Inui seemingly not gave a flying F about it, like it is what it is. But Tomohiro failing was like, dang, again. Kitaro Yamamoto failing again, like in the World Cup, was just extremely disappointing, because I want to see him make it back to the vertical limit burst, as I think he is one of the few contestants that could actually beat the obstacle. Like, I don't know what is going on with him, but hopefully for 43, him and Kawaguchi just, if they make it back to stage 3, just beat the obstacle, and hopefully one or both make it to the final stage. We'll see. Gio failing the Sidewinder was a bit surprising, considering the fact that he has the entire third stage in his backyard. Like, I would have expected him to make it at least to the cliffhanger or vertical limit, but to the Sidewinder, a bit surprising. But I know that if he's invited for 43, he will get his revenge. You had your usual cliffhanger fails from Daniel Gill, of course, to Yuji Araki Naoki also failing the cliffhanger too. Like, I think he could possibly clear. I think there's still a chance that he could clear. Surprisingly, not that many attempts on the vertical limit burst, despite there being 16 stage 3 clears. But Alien Sheriff, like, don't get mad at me, but I wasn't familiar with him that much, but he made an impression on me. Being one of the few contestants to make it to the vertical limit burst was actually impressive nonetheless. Tatsuda vertical limit burst once again, but doing much better than last time. Like in the last tournament, he just instantly failed. Like, golly. Yusuke Morimoto, 3 for 3 fails in a row. 41, the World Cup, and 42. I don't know, like, we'll see what 43 has in store, but maybe the 4th time is the charm, that he'll make it back to the final stage. But godly, like 3 for 3, hopefully it doesn't become 4 for 4, but only time will tell for 43. But the competitor that stole the show was Ryusuke Miyoka, who made his debut in the last tournament. It was actually the first to try the vertical limit burst in 41, became the first to clear it in this tournament, and was the only one to clear stage 3. Like, this man has been on a crazy roll. 2 tournaments and already at the final stage is just an impressive feat. But that is how stage 3 was. Pretty solid, pretty crazy, insane nonetheless. It's all good. With the final stage, I was 50-50 on how Miyoka would do on the final stage. And after seeing his attempt, yeah, he definitely needs some work. Like, not perfect, but far from the worst final stage attempts in Sasuke's history. But he did his best at this time, and he made it to the rope climb, I think. And that is how Sasuke 42 ended in terms of results. Like, as far as what is next for Ryusuke Miyoka for 43 and onwards, if he continues to make it to the third stage or in the final stage for the next few appearances, then this man is definitely the future, in my opinion, in terms of competitors. But Sasuke 42 overall, in my opinion, was a pretty enjoyable tournament. You had a mixture of new changes made to the stages, a bunch of surprising, shocking fails in all of the stages, a new contender that could possibly become the next person to beat the entire course with Ryusuke Miyoka, possibly, and as well as just Yusuke possibly coming back in 43 to make it back. But yeah, I had a good time watching. As far as my complaints go, same old complaints in terms of the editing, especially in stage 3. Like, everyone getting a mid cut with the exception of a few competitors was just like, really? Like, the first two obstacles really don't give a crap anymore. The flying bar and the sidewinder, like, every one of them just getting different mid cuts is just like, come on now. Like, but it is what it is. With Inoue, he had to do what was best. But yeah, as far as Sasuke 43 goes, I don't expect any changes to take place. Maybe some more modifications on different obstacles, hopefully with the fishbone, hopefully with the screwdriver, like making the runway a little bit shorter and just making the obstacle just go faster, if you know what I mean. But only time will tell with what happens next. If I had to give out a rating for Sasuke 42, Sasuke 42 for me, until things change, is a solid 8 out of 10. But yes, thank you for watching. Happy holidays. We'll see what 2025 has in store for the earliest reviews, but you'll see more of me. But thank you for watching, as always. Until next time.